Have you ever wondered what really happened on the day the Ten Commandments were delivered? The scene is one of the most powerful in the entire Bible. Dark skies, thunder tearing through the heavens, the sound of trumpets echoing through the desert, and an entire nation, millions of people, trembling in fear before the manifestation of God's presence. But what's so special about these 10 Commandments? Why are they still so revered today? And more importantly, what do they have to do with you, your life, your decisions, your struggles, and your relationships? In this video, you're going to understand the 10 Commandments like never before, with historical details, deep meanings, practical lessons, and a perspective that connects ancient times to the challenges of the 21st century. Stay with me until the end, because this story might transform how you see God, yourself, and the purpose of your life. To understand the 10 Commandments, we need to go way back in time. Picture the scene. The people of Israel had been enslaved for 400 years in Egypt. Entire generations were born and died under the Egyptian whip. They had no identity, no land, no freedom. Until God raised up Moses, a man who could have lived as Egyptian royalty, but chose to obey the divine call. With a mighty hand, God sent plagues upon Egypt, parted the Red Sea, and set his people free. Now they are in the desert, in front of Mount Sinai, where the next phase of their journey begins. Physical freedom had been granted. Now God wanted to free them from the inside out. It wasn't enough to take the people out of Egypt. He had to take Egypt out of the people. That's when God decided to give the 10 Commandments. Not just to control, but to teach, guide, and shape an entire nation. But the delivery of these commandments wasn't something subtle or symbolic. It was a supernatural event. Mount Sinai was covered with a thick cloud. There were lightning bolts, thunder, fire, and a trumpet sound so loud that the entire nation was terrified. The Bible says Moses climbed the mountain and God spoke to him from within the fire. Just imagine the weight of that moment. God was on just giving rules. He was revealing his own nature. Each commandment reflected his character: justice, holiness, love, and truth, and the people. They were so shaken by God's presence that they begged Moses, "Speak to us yourself and we will listen, but do not have God speak to us or we will die." They felt God's holiness firsthand, and that changed everything. These were not just stone tablets. They were the living presence of the Creator. This is where we begin to see the real value of the 10 Commandments. The first, "You shall have no other gods before me." God will not accept being just one option among many. He is exclusive, absolute. This commandment is about loyalty, priority, and total love. In a world full of distractions, it's an invitation to center our lives on Him. The second commandment goes further. "You shall not make for yourself a carved image." At that time, every nation had its idols, sacred figures, and images. God breaks that pattern. He is invisible, eternal, and wants to be known through faith, not through man-made shapes. The third commandment, "You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain," reminds us that God's name is sacred. Today, using His name to deceive, manipulate, or even justify hatred and violence is a grave offense. Then there's the fourth commandment. "Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy." One of the deepest of all. God, who created everything in 6 days, set aside the seventh day for rest and connection. It's not just about stopping work. It's an act of trust. It's trusting that even while we rest, God is still working. This commandment teaches us to value time, balance, and spiritual communion. The fifth, "Honor your father and your mother," points us to the importance of family. In a time when family bonds are increasingly fragile, this commandment is a foundation. Honoring doesn't mean agreeing with everything. It means recognizing the role of those who gave us life. And it comes with a promise, so that your days may be long in the land. Obedience brings life, peace, and wisdom. The sixth commandment, "You shall not murder," is universal. But Jesus takes it deeper. If you hate someone in your heart, you've already committed a kind of inner murder. Violence begins within. This commandment isn't just about weapons or crimes. It's about not letting hatred control our actions. The seventh, "You shall not commit adultery," protects faithfulness, trust, and the sacredness of marriage. In a culture where everything is disposable, This commandment calls us to value relationships deeply and truly. The 8th, you shall not steal, teaches integrity. Not just in material possessions, but in everything. Honesty at work, in relationships, in business. The 9th, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, stands against lies, gossip, and slander. In this age of social media, where falsehood spreads fast, this commandment is an urgent call to be responsible with the truth. And finally, the 10th commandment, you shall not covet. This one is different because it addresses the unseen. It doesn't condemn an action, but a desire. It goes to the depths of the soul. It's wanting what belongs to others, living in constant comparison, never being satisfied. This destroys our inner peace. God knew this. That's why he ends the commandments by addressing the root of many sins. What lives in the heart? And here lies one of the most powerful secrets of the 10 Commandments. They weren't given to perfect people. They were given to reveal the truth about our inner selves. They expose God's holiness and our desperate need for transformation. But they also point to hope. Because centuries later, Jesus came into the world, not to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. He lived each commandment perfectly. More than that, he summarized them all in 2 great commandments. Love God above all, and love your neighbor as yourself. So now I ask you, how have you been seeing the 10 Commandments? As outdated, heavy rules, or as an invitation to abundant life? They were not given to enslave us, but to set us free, to show us a path of peace, justice, balance, and love. Maybe today you're facing hard decisions, internal struggles, family or spiritual conflicts. The 10 Commandments can be like a light on that path, reliable guide in a constantly changing world. And the most incredible part, God doesn't just want you to know these laws. He wants to write each one of them on your heart. If this message touched your soul, share it with someone. Someone else might need this awakening too. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now, because we're going to keep diving deep into biblical stories that reveal eternal truths. See you in the next video, and may God greatly bless your journey.